to watch the videos.
There we go.
Okay, so take a few minutes to think about questions and curiosities you'd like to explore in connection to both your readings experience this week and exploring gender. Think about questions related to bigger ideas like gender representation, stereotypes, gender roles, etc. Remember to think of these questions as a way to engage your group's members around these key ideas or areas in your reading this week. You'll have the power to and ability to guide your discussion this week based on themes and commonalities of your text experience, formulating and record questions. Okay, so we're just putting like the questions we have in the Jamboard.
I think so.
Okay. Okay, and then come together and share your questions.
Oh,
This
she
is
has
the
it
talking
structured for
aspect.
us. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Determine how you will discuss your questions.
So I don't think we're sharing our challenges this week.
Aw. Mine was pretty for once.
Yeah,
Mine is not.
PowerPoint, but like I'm definitely proud of how it looks. So I'm kind of salty.
I was looking at some other
I think we
people's.
don't have to.
One girl had a really, really pretty one. She had like photos and like florals on the edges. It was
I
so
don't
nice.
I don't even check.
I don't know how people
my
do that.
classmates' work because
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
I just
like,
look at
"Oh,
people who
man."
have similar books to mine, so I can see what they did.
Smart. Yeah.
I'm on the right track.
Usually that just makes me feel worse. I'll just be like, "Oh."
If it has similar content, it doesn't matter if it's pretty.
True. What books did you guys read this week?
I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter. I had.
Mine was After the Shot Drops. Never heard of that. No.
Sounds like it could be about a lot of things.
Mine was Once and For All by Sarah Dessen.
Oh.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, really? I really like her novels. So when I saw that was an option, I didn't even like look at the description. I just chose it because I like her writing style. But
yeah, it's cool. Okay. So then, like, what questions are we supposed to ask?
I think we're supposed to like come up with our own. Yeah, take a few minutes to think about questions and curiosities you'd like to explore. Think about questions related to the bigger ideas like gender representation, stereotypes, roles, etc.
And we have to put those in our thing. Oh my gosh.
And then share them, I suppose.
Seems like it. Well, the first question I have is just like, what's like an activity you could do that like focuses around like gender roles and like gender representation? Because like, especially with like this age group, where like I feel like they could like joke around with it a lot, but this obviously needs to be taken seriously. So like, I don't know, what are some activities that you could do? I'm trying to think too.
I don't remember doing like a lot of activities in middle school, like with gender roles or anything like that.
Yeah, me either. So I don't know, like that really is kind of hard when you have nothing to go off of.
Yeah. I wish she gave us like some prompts or something.
Like an example question.
I'm just gonna write the question I just asked in the Padlet just so we have something.
The question that had me like rambling the most or talking the most was the last one. Like, how do you wish young adult books were different in terms of how they contribute to the social construction of gender?
Let's just use those questions. Honestly.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I rambled a lot about that in mine. It's just like I wish that it was more often subverted, just because like this is like the first real experience most people have with things that aren't like, you know, save the girl, whatever.
Yeah, definitely for mine. I said like I would love to read a book that has like the girl as a main character and it's not a love story. Like I can't think of a book that doesn't have some love interest involved. And it would be really like refreshing to have a book where that doesn't happen.
How do I wish they were different? I mean, I feel like a lot of these books, rather than like disrupting gender norms, they kind of enforce them. Like, because like Taylor said, like, you know, if there's a female lead character, it's probably a love triangle or whatever like that. So I wish that they would try to focus more on breaking down those gender stereotypes and gender roles instead of just enforcing them. because I feel like, you know, as you're reading along with it and you see like the gender roles played out in the book, it can kind of, you know, rub off on you.
I was thinking like definitely like these books that cover the harder topics, they challenge the perspective that students have. And like something that I critique about it is that like the past few books I've been reading, they're very like surface level into these like topics and stuff. And so I said that they could like challenge like the plot of their stories and kind of like push it a little further, so then like it disrupts students' thinking and
You
not
want them
just,
to
like,
be,
yeah,
you want them to be more subversive. Yeah.
yes,
So not like it's sugar coated.
Yeah.
Oh wait, are we putting these questions on the Padlet?
Yeah, I just put that one on there.
I put one up too.
Are we all supposed to post on that Padlet?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, your collection of questions and curiosity, your record of your discussion around the correct question to create it as a group, and a link to your Wakelet. I don't know what Wakelet is.
I've never heard of Wakelet.
It's down at the bottom.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, but it's weird.
I started watching it and then I got distracted.
I feel that. I think this first 45 minutes is just going to be blended together.
Do we have to type like our answers in the Padlet, or are we just discussing them?
I think we just discuss.
Perfect.
How do you think stereotypes and gender representation was like represented in your book? I'll put that one up there.
See, my book, like, it didn't like honestly work with gender that much. It just like, it was about a boy who was like a jerk, and then he got amnesia and he forgot like who he was. So then he kind of reinvented himself. So it worked a lot with like identity. And like the only stereotype was like he was like a football player and like this big like jock bully type of guy. And then like he kind of reinvented himself. So I was just saying like I focused on like the stereotypical like jock was very like pronounced in my book.
Same with me, like gender wasn't like a big thing, but what I picked up from it was I analyzed my main character's name's Bunny, and for males, a stereotype I came up with is that they could be like over prideful or stuff like that. They get jealous pretty easily. So when the main character gets a basketball scholarship at a white school, his best friend, you know, his living situation is crappy, so he starts to distance himself from him because maybe he's jealous, maybe his pride got hurt because he's doing better and he's not. So I think pride was a big like gender stereotype in mine, for males at least.
I already knew mine was going to be crazy about the gender stereotypes because I'm not your perfect Mexican daughter. And the tendency for most Mexican, like the Mexican stereotype is that you're supposed to be like able to cook, you're supposed to be more pliant, you're supposed to have longer hair, have a keen stay home, like be family minded instead of like wild and adventurous.
Does the character do anything to
she doesn't want to be like that? She's sneaking out and having sex and all that.
Wow.
She didn't want a keen stay. She went to college in New York away from her family.
Mine, it was really interesting because she like lost her first boyfriend to like a school shooting, and then it was like maybe like 9 months later, and she didn't have like this stereotypical of like woe is me. Like she kind of just moved on and like didn't really talk about it, which I thought was different because typically like when you have books like that, they're really like down on themselves and like emotional about it, and like that's all that they can talk about. So I thought that it was really interesting that she kind of like brushed past it, like it wasn't as big of a deal as it was, and it was more focused on her trying to like figure out how to date again. And after that, I don't know, it was trying to connect it was kind of difficult because I felt like it was vague. I don't know.
No, I completely agree with you on like the vague thing.
Yeah, I was like expecting to have like someone, I don't know, just like unsure about, or like a character who's unsure about their like sexual identity or something like that more, and like that was just not at all present.
Right. Yeah, I expected something a little bit more dramatic, not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the blue question here, why are the young adult novels with female leads centered around love stories? I think in my thing, what I said, more women are like defined by their relationships to men, and men are more fleshed out and are allowed to stand on their own.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of how it works.
I'm reading other questions.
That was a really long paragraph for mine, which gender stereotypes are most frequently reinforced.
Mm-hmm.
I had to shrink my text so much.
What behavioral traits and behaviors show us that your character rejected gender stereotypes? Or just like stereotype? Oh, we just kind of talked about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You want to just put that question up?
Yeah, I'm going to put that up. How do like other characters respond to your character? When or do these responses help the character conform or reject the gender stereotypes?
It's just so vague. It's like I have to like really think to make connections.
Mm-hmm. For mine, it was like the football team was totally against him because he was like changing and like not a bully anymore. And then everyone else in the school, they first like were really mad at him because they thought he was still just like the same old person. But then like after they saw him trying to make changes in his life, they kind of accepted him more, even though he was still like an outcast towards the football team. But then he kind of realized like those guys aren't even nice people anyways.
Yeah, for mine, it was like her best friend was trying to help her with like the healing process and to get her to go out and date again. So I think that that's helping her like conform back into the ideas of like what it means to be a girl, of like being in a relationship. But she's like trying to get her to like, seriously date somebody. But then there was like an outside character who his name was Ambrose, and they like formed a bet because he was like the player. And so she said like, oh, you can't date anybody like a single person for 7 weeks. And he was like, well, I bet that you can, like that you can't, go on multiple dates or whatever. So I felt like he was kind of like going against the idea of like what it means to be a girl, because girls aren't supposed to be like the player. So he was like encouraging her to like go out on multiple dates.
For me, I'd say that one of the gender stereotypes for males is that they're like emotionless and they don't talk about anything. And Nasir, who is Bunny's best friend, it's told from two different POVs, so it switches from Bunny's to Nasir each chapter. He's really upset about his relationship with his friend deteriorating. He's at a white school, he's playing basketball. Meanwhile, his living situation is really crappy, and he reaches out and he wants to talk to his cousin about it. So he's trying to break that stereotype. He's like, hey, I want to talk about it. And his cousin just shoots him down like, oh, be a man. You guys don't talk about that. So he was trying to break the mold, but he couldn't really get out of it.
That was like a really like common theme in mine too. And that's something like that I talked about, that the stereotype that like men can't have emotions or can't be like really deal with their emotions needs to be like disrupted, because that's just untrue. And yeah, that was, I don't know, that was just something.
I had a lot on my PowerPoint about that.
Did everybody do a PowerPoint?
I did a Canva, but it looks like a PowerPoint. Okay, and then like I'm looking at the last part, and it says like, once you've had time with your group to discuss and reflect on the questions you've created for this experience, think about how this discussion leads to more questions that go beyond what may have appeared in your readings. So like, how can we relate this to a bigger issue?
I think she expected us to have more questions than we did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm looking at the bottom of her like agenda, and it says, so what do I need to post in my portfolio this week? And it says like your collection of questions and curiosities.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to make like an actual list, or can we just like link our Padlet for?
I'm just gonna link it.
Yeah.
Take a screenshot or whatever. Just do something like that.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm just gonna put my Padlet in my Weebly or my portfolio. But yeah, I think like this topic of like gender is really like absent in our like education system as a whole, and that like this is something like, yeah, like we do talk about racism in school, but like I feel like gender is something that gets overshadowed. And so like yeah, like but see like none of our books also really focused on like gender too, so I feel like it's hard to find books that do like talk about gender and like questioning your gender for like adolescents. Like they don't make a lot of books about that.
Yeah, I feel like you have to like search out books like that.
That's
You
a
have to
good
look for
question.
books like that.
So like the question for that would probably be like, why do you think that gender isn't really addressed in school?
Mm-hmm. I'll add
that's a really good one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Stop. Stupid thing makes me want to type again. I don't want to type again. I just want to zoom out.
Well, and I definitely think too it has something with like the times, because like in the 90s the idea of discussing gender, they're like, well, there's only two, you know what I mean, versus now it's like we recognize that that's not correct. So I think it is something that is very new, that they're probably still trying to figure out how to properly put it into schools to teach it correctly.
Yeah, definitely.
I brought that up in my PowerPoint as well. As like 50 years ago, just any gender norm defiance would have been like outside of the realm of possibility.
Right.
And so the people who didn't fit into that gender binary or who weren't as stereotypically acceptable would have been like left out in the cold. So having that like now allows for people to like see the options they have.
Yeah, I definitely feel like we're making progress, obviously. 50 years ago was really different, but it's super slow. I think it's gonna be a little bit before any of this really gets resolved, or like we get a bigger or better understanding of it.
Yeah, I think like, you know how they do like those anti-bullying days? I feel like they could incorporate like the topic of gender into those types of days, like to start getting the conversation going and to bring more awareness to it. So that might be like a way to incorporate it.
Especially during middle school, you know, because they're going through so many changes, the hormone level. Yeah. So knowing like more about gender, I think would be beneficial to someone that age.
Yeah.
Going off of that, do you think more newer novels should be read instead of like the classic ones that don't really explore gender?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I had that question too.
I feel like we should still read the classics.
Yes.
But I feel like we should stress and kind of push like newer material, because it's a new world than it was 50 years ago.
But also too, like with the classics, like at what point do you just stop teaching them because that book is 100 years old? You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
while yes, like it's like, well, yes, you can read it, but like it should more or less be like for an extra credit. Like, hey, you can read this book for extra credit. It's a classic, but it's also 100 years old. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like if we constantly keep doing the same thing as like an entire country, we're never gonna like progress.
Yeah.
You know, like we're still reading the. I know it's like something so simple as just reading The Outsiders, but still, like, it's just like sets the tone.
And like if you I have no problem teaching the classics, but like it's just like the lesson behind it needs to be more modern, and like to kind of point out what's wrong with this like classic novel, like compared to modern day.
Yeah, going off of that, you can like make using classic novels, you can try to, you know, peel out like real world issues and content and whatnot. But again, Taylor, I think you made a really good point, and I definitely feel like we should fade out of the classics at some point.
Definitely.
Also too, I think like middle school is a really good age to get a hold of them for like exploring like gender because
Yes.
they're like sponges. Like they just absorb
Mhm.
everything and then they kind of form opinions, but then they're really like relying on their friends' opinions and kind of bounce off. So I just feel like if you can really like discuss with them at that age, then I think that there would be more of like a discussion about it just in general.
Mm-hmm.
This mentions themes. What are some of the themes you noticed in yours? Like on the themes and commonalities of the text experiences.
Like my like overall message that I got from mine was like I don't know, it's just kind of like treat people with kindness, and I don't know, that like you don't need to be stuck in like this like identity of whatever people want you to be. Like you could be your own person, make your own choices.
Mine had that similar thing as
Yeah,
well.
I'd
'Cause
say
she-
yeah, kind of the same for me too.
I think mine was more like things don't always have to go. I feel like mine was different. Like mine was like you don't always have to like have things go the way that you plan them, and that because like for her, like she thought that you know, she like wasn't really gonna date again necessarily, and that she was waiting for like the big moment because like she talks about like the guy that she lost as like her true love, and she was like it was like love at first sight, like whatever. And so she's like I'm never gonna have that like spark again, and then it like she realized that she did, but like in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Because mine was like more of a love story than anything, so
Mm-hmm.
it's different than like
Yeah.
actually like a
Going
problem
back
or
to your
something.
thing about females books are always love stories
Right.
eventually.
Right. And like don't get me wrong, like there was like, you know, the issue of like the school shooting was kind of like talked about, but overall it was definitely just a little romance novel.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're ready, or when you guys are ready, I could like present my screen and we could just watch the
Wakelet video together.
tutorial all together.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah,
I'm
that
ready
works.
whenever.
Okay.
I think that
There should be
works
enough
for the
questions, right?
discussion. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it actually looks kind of nice too.
Yeah.
So is that then 1 and 2, or is that just are we on the first one or the second one?
I think we did them kind of blended together because we
Yeah.
were talking as we were making questions.
Okay.
It's all about the discussion. That's what really matters. We always have great discussions.
So true.
Okay.
The recording kind of parallels the questions as well.
Mhm.
Questions aren't in order, I can promise you that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see this.
One of the things I struggle with is sharing my students' work. Now, that may sound funny to you, but I teach a web design class, so all of their work is digital. So getting it off the computer and getting it in front of other eyes is not the easiest thing. So to solve this problem, I went looking and I found Wakelet. The way Wakelet works, it allows you to take web pages and links and tweets and all kinds of other information and put it into one place under one link that you can then share with others. And I found that if I take that link and create a QR code, I can hang that all over my room and anyone with a device can scan it and see my students' work. So in this video, I will do a short, quick tutorial on Wakelet. Hey, my name's Johnny. Welcome. If you're new here and you want to learn more about educational technology, tools, and tips, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And remember, ring the bell so you can get a notification every time I upload a new video. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead to wakelet.com. And I'll make sure I put a link down in the description so that you can get there easily. You're going to go there and then you're going to click sign up for free. After clicking sign up for free, you have a few options. You can use your own email or you can use a Google email. I use that because it streamlines everything and it makes it a lot easier for me to log in. So go ahead and get signed up and then I'll see you on the inside. So once you get logged in, you'll see there's a few options here. There's a panel on the left-hand side with a few links that'll get you to different places. But you want to go ahead and start by creating a collection. Once you click create a collection, you want to go ahead and give it a title. You add a description, and then now it's time to grab that content and start putting it all in here so that we can then share that link. If you want to add a link, just type it on the line where it says add a link, and then click enter, and it'll actually pull that website and give you a little thumbnail snapshot of that website. But that'll be your first item you add to your Wakelet. From here, you can add images, or you can upload images. You can add tweets from Twitter. If you want, you can add PDF files, or you can type text so you can enhance your Wakelet. Once you're done adding all your different links and articles and PDFs and videos, you can then click save. Once you click save, you'll have the option to change the visibility. So you can have it as a private link where you can only see it, or you can make it unlisted so you can share that link with others, but no one can search it or find it on Wakelet. And then lastly, you can make it available to the public so that others can search it and see your Wakelet. While you're editing, if you want to share your Wakelet with others, you can. On the bottom, there's a little pop-up menu. So if you move your mouse up and down a little bit, you'll see it. It'll say share and embed. So you can embed it to a website if you want, or you can click share and get that link and then share that link wherever you would like. It's also integrated with a lot of the popular social media. So if you look all the way at the bottom, you'll have those icons so you can share it out on those platforms. There's not much to it. It's very simple, but it's awesome because it allows you to take all that great stuff and put it in one place under one link and share with others. So go ahead, have fun with it and see what you can do. Question of the day. How are you going to use Wakelet? What are you going to put in? What are you going to organize into it and share with others? Let me know down in the comments. All right, so I hope that was helpful. I hope you
Right. So using Wakelet, collaborate.
Did he say if it could be worked on collaboratively?
Yeah. So someone just has to sign up and make the Wakelet and then share the link in the chat. I can sign up really quick. No one else is.
Here's her example one.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Interesting.
Oh, so it's pretty much just a Google Doc of links, but prettier.
Are we supposed to each put our challenge 7 on there and then the Padlet? Do you think?
So for that, wait, hold on. So this is kind of what I was thinking. Here, I can share my screen real quick.
Right.
So I was thinking about doing this. So just like meeting and then like having the questions and then linking that. And then I'll just put like the, whatever it's called, the Wakelet or whatever, and just like list that. So she can just like click through.
Oh, yeah.
I figured that'd be easier. Just
Yeah.
like list form.
Yeah, I was just gonna have my work and then probably the video with the Padlet link next to it. Description, like the first half hour of this recording is us talking about the questions.
Yeah.
So she could focus on that instead of having to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, I made my account. Now I just got to make the Wakelet really quick.
You know the dumb ways to die video. The song is stuck in my head.
Oh, that's never.
It's a blast from the past.
I know. It was on TikTok a few days ago, and I just can't get rid of it.
Dumb ways to die. So mad.
Oh, it might make everyone make accounts to edit it, honestly.
Okay, I'll just make my own account.
So yeah.
Saying my birthday isn't valid.
Wow.
Your own birthday.
You weren't born, I guess.
And then that's the
nope.
link.
No.
And then the website looks completely different than the video we saw.
Yeah, that's probably an old video. So what are the things you're supposed to add or have?
I just had it. I saw like resources for
That kind of explored the questions, I guess.
She says, use a series of resources that speak to gender roles and stereotypes.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna look up like TED Talks on YouTube. That's always a good.
TED Talks.
Okay.
Genius.
Maybe I can look for like an article or something.
I'm gonna mute myself just because like when I watch them.
I'm just gonna Google that and see what pops up. Oh, this is cool. Oh, that is the wrong pad. Look at that. Does that seem like it should be on there? Maybe not name this.
Did you put in the wakelet?
Yeah.
The TED Talk?
Not a TED Talk.
Oh.
It's kind of like an
above
article, a little article, yeah. Pretty. It's from the Institute of Physics in London.
I have a really good article as well right here. Talks all about gender roles and stuff.
I found why kids need to learn about gender and sexuality.
Throw it on there.
Gonna do.
It's on there twice. Natalie.
No, I think those are just different TED Talks.
Why kids need to learn about gender and sexuality, Lindsay Amer. She's on there twice.
Oh.
Oh, that is not the right button. This is weird to use.
Did we can link our Padlet to here, right? With all the questions. Maybe
at the top. I can copy and paste it.
Because I mean that kind of would be a resource speaking about gender roles.
Or like they could be like just discussion questions.
Yeah.
Oh, that one looks interesting. Gender roles in the future, theoretical foundations. That looks so interesting.
Yeah, that was the one I got. It's a really good article. It literally hits on everything she wants it to. Perfect.
Planned Parenthood has something too.
Oh, that I think that's a good resource.
Yep. Domestic behaviors.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, I'll copy this. What does that smell? Oh, this is a good one. Gender equity in the classroom. About how to minimize gender bias in the teaching practice and curriculum.
Well, I found an article that goes all over the whole idea of like manning up and that thing that we were talking about earlier. I'll share that one with you.
That song is still stuck in my head.
I have too many tabs open. I keep closing the Wakelet like when I go to hit it.
Ooh, this is interesting. Oh, this is 12 pages.
Thanks.
The influence of media on views of gender.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah.
NYU EDU. So apparently it's. What would the world do without copy and paste?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I've got laundry downstairs. Oops.
What should the description be? Do we have to describe it or anything?
Maybe just like resources on like, or like how to, or yeah,
Curation of resources that speak about gender roles and stereotypes.
or like ways to educate yourselves.
Probably throw our names in the title too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, this one, the example is Twitter in the classroom, and then the description is tips on how to use Twitter in your classroom.
Oh my god, my connection is so bad. This is malarkey.
I feel that. I had to switch to a PC earlier today because my Zoom wasn't working or letting me into breakout rooms.
Oh.
So I could barely speak to anybody, and I didn't have a camera for my 2-hour class this morning.
Yikes.
Okay, yeah, I feel like we definitely have a lot.
Yeah, I think we should be good on the Wakelet.
Okay, so we just post the link of the Wakelet on our portfolios. We post the discussion, and then we post. No, I think that's it, right?
Yeah, so your Wakelet, I think we still have to post the Padlet. I might, or the Jamboard. Just
I think we do.
Okay, and then our recording. Yeah.
Okay, easy enough. And then can one of you send me the Jamboard link over Slack or something?
Yep.
I'll copy that now.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay.
It should be in the chat for the Zoom meeting still.
How is it?
I just sent it in Slack.
Oh, yeah, it is the first link. I didn't even see that. So I think we should be solid then, right?
Yeah.
If the Wakelet is everyone's content with the Wakelet.
Do we need to do anything else with it, or is that it? Like just add links?
I think that's it. Yeah, it's literally just like a collection of resources.
Yep.
So yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah. All right. I won't be in class this Wednesday, just so you guys aren't wondering. I'm going home. So
We'll let you know if you miss anything.
Yeah, thank you. All right, and I will see you guys next Monday.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Yes.
Okay.
Everybody's in class Monday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah, because it's just synchronous, right? Like no asynchronous or whatever.
Yep.
Okay.
I think we have the mental health days next week.
Oh yeah, we don't have
Tuesday and
class
Wednesday
next
are off.
Wednesday. Yeah.
We don't have spring break, so that's nice.
Get out in April though.
Cool.
Facts.
Crazy.
All right. Well, I think we're good.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Okay. Bye,
Okay,
guys.
Good job,
Convert
guys.
the video.
See ya.
See ya.
Okay.